So today guys, I'm going to be tying a fry pattern. Anybody that watches my YouTube channel will know I love fishing with fry patterns, and in fact, they've got to be one of the easiest patterns to tie, but they're just deadly. So this will be the first in a series of fly tying videos. I wanted to bring some of these to the channel just to try and get people who maybe don't tie flies potentially interested in doing so. It's really rewarding when you start catching fish on your own flies, and they're not all patterns are that difficult to tie. So in the vise I have a Kamasan B800 long shank hook, and I'm using a white 8/0 thread. So I'm just putting the thread on and going down maybe about a third of the way down the hook. That's fine, and a few thread wraps on, and then back up, stopping maybe about 5mm short of the eye. So next what I'm going to use is put some eyes on. Now these are Elite Flies glow eyes in brass. These are pretty heavy eyes, and I really like fishing these on smaller waters. So to get the eyes on it can be a bit fiddly, so it's just catch a couple of turns, figure 8 on each side, go back the other way, keep alternating until you'll feel yourself when it's holding itself in place, and then you can just figure 8 round, changing sides until those are secure. What I like to do with these is put on a little bit of super glue, so just a tad, you don't need much, just to add that little bit of strength to the eyes. And a couple of more turns either side. And just build it up until you feel you can try and move the eyes. They'll always slide a little bit, but you'll feel when it's not wanting to go anywhere. And once that super glue sets, they'll be well in place. Now I like to tie the eyes on the bottom of the hook. It just helps the pattern swim the right way around. Either or, if your pattern swims upside down, it'll still catch fish. So just taking the thread all the way down. It's quite a long hook, which is great for the fry pattern, gives you plenty of space to tie in the body, and stop about level with the barb of the hook. So next I'm going to be using rabbit, and this is from Troutline. It's the white barred rabbit. The key with rabbit material is you really want nice colour and a nice thin skin on it, so your fly has plenty of movement in the water. Just run your fingers through, get the extra fluff off. Very important, because you get enough fluff on your hands when you're tying this pattern. So that's the kind of length I'm looking at. Don't want the tail massive. You can vary it yourself. And what I'm doing there is just where the threads stop, I'm separating the rabbit to create a little channel. You can wet your fingers, and that makes it a lot easier, just to keep that material back, create a gap, and then put in a couple of turns. Just check you're happy with where that's sitting. Yeah, I'm happy, that's a bit in line with the barb of the hook. Put in some more turns, turn underneath just to secure that in place. Some more turns, and a few turns in front. Happy with that. So for the body, I'm going to get some Straggle material. Now this is Synergy Micro Straggle from Flybox. Colour in this is fluorescent red and silver. And this is where this gives the fly the real pop of colour. So really like this material for the body. So just offer it up, catch it in with the thread, and tie it in all the way up. Just pull everything back, give it a good coat of the thread. The Straggle material is extremely strong, so the advantage of tying with this as opposed to dubbing is you don't need wire, so it makes it a little bit more simple to tie. And run your thread all the way up, touching turns all the way up to the eyes. Okay, so now I'm going to turn around the straggle, there we go, and just brush back the fibres as you're going up, almost like you're hackling it. These fibres have a natural angle they want to stand up, and if you just keep brushing them back, you'll see that it really does make a difference. The straggle material stands up nicely, which is what we want. Just take your time. It does take a while to wrap up that's such an extra long shank hook, so take your time going up, make sure you're happy that the fibres are coming out. You can see the lovely colour that it adds to the body of the fly. It really does pop, especially when the fly is wet. You can add in a flash tail before you tie on anything, so you just add a flash tail before you put on the rabbit fur, but with these patterns I really like keeping the colour to the body. It really attracts the fly in, and yeah, I find it works extremely well. So I'm happy with that. Tie it in, a couple of extra turns, a couple of figure 8 round the eyes just to make sure that's firmly in place. So I'm happy with that. Next I can fold over the rabbit, just brush that back, and what I'm looking to do is just separate out. It's obviously a little bit too long, but I want to keep a bit of the rabbit fur in front. You can see there, it's maybe even about, I don't know, a centimetre. Some of it folded back, just makes it sit nicely. So I'm happy with that. Just stretch the rabbit fur. You want it to be quite tight. Put in a couple of turns, give it an extra stretch, then secure that in place with multiple turns. That's fine. I'm going to now snip off this piece. Just take your time, cut it as close as you can. I'm not going to throw that away. I've got to keep that, and you'll see why. So I just want to make sure that rabbit fur is firmly in place at the head. So I'm just going to a few more turns, and again figure 8 round the eyes, tidy up the head, just lock that into place. Happy with that. I'm going to go back to this piece of rabbit fur now, and I'm just going to snip off the barred part. So just hold it with my fingers, snip off the very top part which has got the barred pattern on it, leaves you with this nice bit white. Snip off the skin at the bottom and just fluff that up in your fingers. I'm going to use this just to finish off the head of the fly, and it really does blend well. It's an exact match for the body, so it's a good way of using up your waste material as well. So just dub that onto your thread. Don't even need to use wax or anything, it dubs on really well, rabbit. Want to keep it fairly loose so the fibres come out. A couple of turns behind the eye and then figure 8 round the eye. Just build that up. That's enough, I'm happy with that. Lock that in place at the eye and I'm ready to whip finish. Pull that tight and I'll just get a bit of varnish, put that on my thread, and this just makes the extra secure finish. And another whip finish. And snip that off. And there we go. So as you can see, really easy to tie and really effective pattern. You can mix up the rabbit colour, you can mix up the body colour, you can add flash tail, you can add some tinsel to straggle back, but keeping it simple, you'll still catch plenty of fish with this pattern. I tie these in an array of colours, as you can see, and these really do catch me a lot of fish. The more natural patterns are great for browns. The brighter patterns, such as this one, the rainbows just love them. So we'll get some of these in your box and I'm sure you'll have plenty of fun with them. And thanks for tuning in, and I'll be back soon with another video. Cheers guys.